Good morning, everybody from New Haven, Connecticut. My name is Kimino De Paz. I'm the Assistant Dean of Global Award Programs at Yale School of Management. And we're here today to present to you our Master of Advanced Management at Yale School of Management. I'm here with two of my colleagues that are supporting me in this endeavor. We have Elena Heath in the back end. Thank you, Elena, for helping us with all the logistics for this webinar. And also we're here with Matt Lasans, who is our Assistant Director of Admissions. So Matt, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Lasance. I'm the Assistant Director. Excited to be here and talk a little bit more about the Master of Advanced Management with all of you today.
Thank you so much. So before we start, I'm going to ask Elena to please put on the chat our brochure. We just have a brand new brochure. You can find all the information on our website, but we're excited about our newest brochure. So Elena, if you can share in the chat, and then people can download it if they want to have more information. Also, we're going to go through the deck of slides, and we're going to be taking questions at the end. So feel free to put your questions in the Q&A feature, and we have also taken the questions that you pre-submitted when you register, so we have them handy as well. So as important as it is to present the program to you, it's to answer every question that you might have. So without further ado, I'm gonna start the presentation. And this is our brand new class. So program started last week with orientation, and this week is when official classes have started. Sorry, orientation was 2 weeks ago. So we had 2 weeks of orientation. We started on August 12th, and this week is the first class week. We have 40 MBA graduates in the 2025 class, representing 22 countries of citizenship. 95% are international passport holders, so very, very global cohort. 24 MBA schools represented. Average age is 31 years old. It's a requirement for this degree to have an MBA. So that's why the average age is slightly over the average for a regular MBA, because graduates have already graduated from an MBA degree. 45% women, which is a pretty good stat for programs like this that is a little bit more advanced in terms of career, but we would definitely like to have at least 50%. So we work hard towards that goal, even though it's not easy to achieve, as again, program get applicants with more experience, work experience. 95% of our students speak 2 more languages, and the average work experience is 7 years. So our MAM students, they come from absolutely all over the world. Of course, there's 70 countries on 6 continents. It's not this class is the history of the program, but they do come from all over the world, and this is a truly global program. So again, 95% of the incoming class have international passports, and they are spread out all over the world. We're not recruiting from a specific region. We want to have a diverse class with representation from everywhere in the world, all industries and all job functions as well. We'd like to present to you a little bit the portfolio of programs that we have at Yale SOM, because these are the students you're going to be interacting with while you are on campus. So I have to be careful, because I always say we are a very small business school for the US, but I know that's because in this country, schools tend to be bigger. Sometimes students at other schools say, oh, but you are very big compared to my business school in my region. So we have around 1,000 students per year, which is, again, small for the US, and they are distributed across this program. So our flagship program is the full-time MBA. This is the bigger program that we have, with around 345 students per year. It's a 2-year degree program. First year is the core, second year is the electives, and a subset of, or a niche program as part of the MBA is our Silver Scholars program. So while the average MBA has 5 years of work experience, Silver Scholars, again, is a very small number that participates in the MBA. It's recent undergraduate grads that are stellar, they're brilliant, and they join the MBA without any prior experience. So they come, they do the first year, the core, then they go work for up to 3 years, and then they come back and do the electives with us. Then we have our MBA for executives. This is our most senior program. Students have around 10 years of working experience. These are the students you would be interacting with the list, because they come every other weekend, Friday, Saturday, and the program is also 2 years long. Then we have Master of Advanced Management students. It's also a full-time program. It's a 1-year degree program. Again, I did mention that we kicked off on August 12th, and the graduating class will depart the end of May with graduation, end of May, mid and end of May is when the program is over. Again, very, very flexible curriculum. Mostly you design your curriculum. I'm going to be talking more about this. And you have a lot of classes. You interact a lot with our full-time MBAs because you share a lot of electives with them. Then we have our family of Master Management Studies. These are a series of programs for mostly pre-experienced students. There's one, the Systemic Risk, which is very specific, but is post-experience. But Global Business and Society and Asset Management is a younger population. The Global Business and Society is a program for MEM graduates from around the world. And Asset Management is a very specific niche program for people that want to work in finance, and they come usually after undergraduate studies. And then Systemic Risk, as I mentioned, is a post-experience. It's for central bankers, and it's a very small program. And then students return back to their positions in the central bank in their home countries. And then we have our PhD students. The PhD students are going to be working very closely with our faculty, and they will be teaching assistants in many of your classes. So you will be interacting with them in that capacity. They will hold office hours. So you will definitely be interacting with our PhD students as well. So what is Yale SOM's mission? It's to educate leaders for business and society. Every single business school in the world educates leaders for business. We do it also for society. And this is a part of the admission process that we're going to be looking very carefully at. So everybody at the school, from the person that welcomes you at the front door all the way to the dean, we all know our mission, and we work towards it. So every curricular, extracurricular activity, you're going to have classes that will cover the society piece and the impact that businesses make in society. And we're also going to be, again, looking very carefully at it during the admission process. We want to understand how you plan to advance our mission, how you are already implementing it in your current positions or in your life. And I'm already giving you a hint that this is something that you do have to stress when you present yourself to us. We want to make sure that that you are getting ready not just to be a leader for business, but that you are also looking forward to making an impact and improving the world we live in. So why should you consider the MAM? I mean, you already have an MBA. You are probably in the process of getting an MBA degree. Why would you consider the MAM? Because you could very well just go back to the workforce and just continue your career. And that is totally true. But if you want to go deeper in a specific area that you haven't had the opportunity during the MBA because of the general management nature of the program, you can do that at SOM. For example, we have a lot of expertise in behavioral science. If you want to go deeper in behavioral science, that is something that you could explore at SOM. Or if you want to go broader, right? Again, with this mission that we have of making an impact in society, business is interrelated with many other disciplines. So if you want to go broader and take classes at the School of the Environment, if you want to take classes at the Jackson Institute of Global Affairs, if you want to take classes for yourself, something that you are interested in, it could be languages, it could be art, it could be drama, anything that will help you develop as a human being and also potentially improve your skills in a way that you wouldn't have the opportunity elsewhere. That's something that you could also achieve coming to the MAM. You could also do a combination of both, go deeper and broader. I'm going to be sharing the examples later of the curriculum of 2 students that we had in the MAM, and you're going to see how they designed their degree, which is very differently, and both got the same degree. So I would think of this program as a final step in your educational journey where you actually shape the program in a way that would complement what you have done so far academically, but also that would kind of launch you to whatever plan you have professionally later in your career. At the end of the program, you will have 2 networks and 2 brands. Obviously, your MBA school plus Yale SOM. You will have a global career. Obviously, the students come from all over the world. So when they leave the MAM, they are also placed all over the world. And a community of purpose. No matter where you end up in the world, you will find Yale alumni that will be there to support you and that will also expect the same in return. So I keep talking about the curriculum, the flexibility that you design. How does this work? So the program has 40 units of credit. That is what you need to graduate. You can go over this, but I would not advise to go much higher than this because it can become overwhelming. But again, 40 units to graduate. Of those 40 units, only 4 are required courses. 36 are electives that you can decide what to take and what not to take. So of the 4 units that are required, there are 2 classes. So to give you a reference, 4 units of credit is a full semester course and 2 units of credit is a half semester course. So we have 2 half semester courses that are required and both are related to leadership. One is topics in advanced management for business and society, and the other one is global leadership, personal and interpersonal effectiveness. One works at the personal level to improve your leadership skills, and the other one is much more at a macro level, like looking at different aspects of businesses today. And then you have elective courses. We have over 170 elective courses at Yale SOM that you can choose from. But as I was mentioning before, you can totally go outside of SOM. And I totally encourage you to do so and take classes at any of the other 12 professional schools in the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. I want to talk a little bit about the management science major. This is an option that this program allows. You have to declare this major when you apply to the program. I want to stress this. It has to be a decision made before you arrive on campus and actually while you are applying. You will not be able to then change your decision. So you have to carefully think about this, do your research, talk to us, talk to alumni, current students, so that you actually know well whether you want to apply to the MAM with or without the management science major. The degree that you receive at the end is the same. So the management science major is not like in a specialization. It's not going to be shown in your diploma or anything like that. The implications of the management science major is that you will have to take classes in STEM during the program. And so those electives that I was talking about get a little bit more constrained because some of those will have to be STEM courses, but also has implications for your OPT status. So OPT stands for Optional Practical Training. And what this means, and if you're familiar with degrees in the US, when you graduate from a degree in the US, you are eligible for OPT, Optional Practical Training. That means that you have a 1-year optional practical training where you can work in the US under your student visa. You don't need a work visa to do this. You need a job offer, so it's not automatic. You need a job offer, you need to apply for it, and you need to be approved. If you choose the STEM major, that 1 year can be extended up to 3 years. It's not automatic. You do your 1 year, then you have to apply for the STEM extension. You have to be approved, and then that's a possibility. Also important to note that you will have to have a STEM job. You will not be able to have the STEM extension if the job is not STEM related. So again, you do have to make sure that if you choose the STEM major, it's because you do have a background in STEM and because you want to work in STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And again, I also want to stress that it's not automatic. It needs to be approved and it can be rejected. So it's not a guarantee. If you decide to follow the management science major, you have to complete a minimum of 16 credit units of eligible courses focusing on STEM. And we have 26 elective options that qualify for STEM. Here you have a list of the most popular courses, but clearly this is not an exhaustive list. If you decide to follow the management science major, how does your curriculum look like? Well, you have the 4 units of leadership courses that are required that I mentioned before. Then you have the 16 units of management science major courses that are electives that you have to choose within the STEM portfolio. And then you have 20 units of courses that are completely free for you to choose from. Again, they can be at SOM or they can be outside of SOM at any of the other 12 professional schools around the university. So here are the 2 examples that I was talking before about. So we have June on the left-hand side of the slide. As you can see, this student took a lot of management courses and then went off and took other courses in other disciplines. This is clearly more than 40 units of credit. So this student went way above what the requirements of the program are, and I do not advise to do this. I had no idea how the students survived, but they clearly did and graduated. But anyway, a lot of management courses, and took a couple of classes in global issues, probably at the Jackson Institute of Global Affairs, then a class in film, a couple classes in the law school, language class, and then music and theater. So basically did it all. They went deeper, it went broader, and did everything possible while they were with us. Then on the right-hand side, we have Matthew. And Matthew focused much more in just 2 areas, management and finance. As you can see, deep dive in finance, and then a few classes in management to continue the MBA preparation in different areas. Looks like a lot of kind of negotiation and persuasion and kind of skills for negotiating. And then took a class in art. And this is probably because they were interested in art. And this is a recommendation that I always give our students. Given that you have such a breadth of opportunities here, I would totally advise everybody to take a class for yourself. Nothing related to a professional plan or something that would land you this job or that job, something that will make you happy as a person. And it seems like Matthew followed my advice and did take a class that they might be interested in at a personal level, not so much for professional purposes. I'm gonna hand it over now to Matt, who is going to talk to you about the fun part of this presentation, which is the extracurricular activities, what happens outside of the classroom, which, by the way, is as important as what happens in the classroom. So we get all the time the question, oh, can this program be done online? The answer is no, because you would be missing out so much about the Yale SOM experience, which is what Matt is about to talk to you about. He will also cover the part about the admission process and the application process, and I will come back at the end to answer questions alongside with Matt. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Camino. So as Camino mentioned, we obviously find that being in the classroom and getting your education is very important, but the opportunities outside the classroom are really limitless. So just to talk a little bit about what some of those opportunities are. Yale SOM has actually over 50 clubs and organizations that are always looking for students to come join, be a part of the community and their teams. So up in the top left, you're going to see one of our most popular clubs. It's actually the ice hockey club, and really cool. It's a big thing up here in the Northeast, and you don't need to know how to skate. You don't need to have ever been on skates or had a hockey stick or anything like that. They want people to come out, experience it. It's something that we really recommend students take a shot at if you're interested in trying something completely different. As Camino mentioned, our students actually just finished up their orientation, and in the middle there, you're going to see a few of our students from orientation. We tend to have a lot of different activities. There are classes and different things going on that we try to get our students ready for the upcoming year, but we also want them to have fun, to start networking and connecting with each other. So we tend to do a lot of different sort of field day type activities, bring them places, and really get them talking to each other, getting to know each other in a fun, relaxing environment. Now, with that, Yale obviously has a lot of things going on across campus. And as you're going to see in the photo on the right there, our Responsible AI and Global Business Conference was going on. Yale constantly has conferences, case competitions, and so much more going on throughout the year. A lot of different speakers, which we'll talk about in a minute. And it's something that we definitely recommend students get involved with, go out, learn, listen to these amazing world-renowned leaders and faculty and people that are coming to share their information, share their knowledge, want to be around our students. On the bottom, you're going to see some of the other fun things going on that maybe aren't a part of specific clubs or school sanctioned things. So you see our Friendsgiving down in the bottom left there, and it's one of our events around Thanksgiving time. A lot of our students are international or may not go home during that time. So we really try to bring everyone together and get our SOM community and family together. Students, faculty, staff, everyone tries to come together and just enjoy a meal, spend some time getting to know each other, catching up, talking about what they've been up to during their first semester or maybe their third semester if they're an MBA student at Yale SOM and at Yale. In the bottom middle, you're going to see, I believe that was from The Game, which is actually the Yale Harvard football game. Every other year, it's hosted at Yale. It's one of the biggest events on campus and definitely one that I would recommend if you have an opportunity to go to. It's worth going to and experiencing that. And then, of course, in the bottom right, you're going to see some of our students. Yale SOM tries to put on different activities, events, things for our students just to have some fun, relax in between classes, just enjoy the experience. In this case, was one of, I believe, during our welcome week, kind of just getting students out and about, meeting each other. We had Handsome Dan stop by and make an appearance, which obviously all the students love getting to meet and greet Handsome Dan and spend a little time with him. So it's just a really great opportunity, but there's a lot of different things going on. We definitely recommend getting involved with some clubs, some activities, conferences. There's so much to do and see. So it's definitely worth checking out everything outside the classroom. As I mentioned, we do have a number of world-renowned speakers and people coming to talk to our students. So these are just a couple of those people. Stella McCartney, who was a world-renowned fashion designer, came and spoke with our students, talked a little bit about marketing and everything that's going on in the fashion business industry. On a completely different note, Janet Yellen, who's the Secretary of the Treasury and former chairman of the Board of Governors for the Federal Reserve, came and spoke with our students, came and shared her knowledge, shared her information, what's going on. It's a great opportunity for students to really listen to these people that are making the decisions. And I think it goes back to educating leaders for business and society. These are the people leading business and society forward. And a great example of that, and I think an unbelievable opportunity. One of our students had the opportunity to meet the president of her home country, the Republic of Ghana. Where else are you going to have that type of opportunity? It's something that I think, it's unexpected, but we truly are trying to connect today's leaders with the next generation of leaders for business and society to hopefully continue to make an impact and push the world forward in a positive way. Now, one of the pieces to Yale that I think a lot of our students absolutely love, and we constantly hear this, is just the campus and the surrounding area. New Haven is an unbelievable place, but the campus, you're going to see over 200, 300 years of history all in this one place. And there's so much to see and do. I know I was just talking to a student the other day. They had said their favorite part was going and experiencing each school's libraries. And we have 12 different graduate schools. They were telling me that was one of their favorite things, was to go and study in different libraries and just experience all the history and places around campus. Obviously, we can't bring the campus to you right now, but these are just a couple photos. I definitely recommend, if you have the opportunity, to check out one of the virtual tours online and see a little bit more of what our students love about Yale. Now, where do our MAM students end up? Really, it's all across the globe in some of the most amazing businesses and companies across the world. These are all world-renowned, worldwide known places. So Google, the United Nations, PwC, Amazon, BCG, Bank of China, as seen here, just a couple to name. They really end up in all different markets, all different industries, all different types of positions. And I think it's one of the amazing pieces is not just are you going to have students in your class that are, maybe at different points in their career, but from all across the globe, all different industries. And they come together to talk about what's happening, where's the world going, where's the industry going, and, pushing everything forward to hopefully better the worldwide community. So it definitely has a lot to offer. Yale has some unbelievable relationships with these companies. So thankfully, it helps our students. But the recruiters really seek talent from Yale year after year because of the amazing students we have. Now, the part I'm sure a lot of you are waiting for, the application process and what all of that looks like. So we have an online application that I believe is opening September 24th. We'll have the dates up in just a second. And you go online, you start the application. There's going to be 3 essays. And once the application opens, you'll be able to see those. We will have an app tips webinar at some point in the near future. And we might dive a little deeper into what these 3 essay questions are. You'll submit your most up-to-date resume, transcripts from any schools that you've attended, GMAT or GRE test score, which is a requirement. There is no waiver for this. We don't ask for any English proficiency tests or anything like that, just GMAT or GRE test score. And then a letter of recommendation from a professional source, a letter of support from the dean or director of your MBA program. Then once you have paid the $95 application fee and submitted, you'll be sent video questions. There's going to be 3 video questions that shouldn't take more than 5-10 minutes to prepare for an answer. And we really say you don't need to prepare for them. We want to see how you think, how you approach answering some of these questions. And then if invited, you'll be given an opportunity to interview with myself, Camino, or one of our other amazing team members. And we should have the dates, I believe. Yep. So our application opens, as I mentioned, on September 24th, with round 1 opening on January 8th. Now, round 1 is open exclusively to GNAM school students. So if you come from one of our GNAM partner schools, that would be your first opportunity to apply. If you're looking at the MAM program but don't come from a GNAM school, that is okay. We would encourage you to apply then in rounds 2 or 3, as those are open to students from all across the globe from any MBA program. And those deadlines are February 19th and April 9th. One of the other major questions is affording your MAM. And we understand that, as you see there, the cost for tuition and fees is $85,400, and there are living expenses. We had a rough estimate, I believe, of about $32,000 as shown there. And that obviously can go up and down depending on what you're eating, where you're living, all of those sorts of things along the way. We understand that this is an investment in yourself and that this is a big investment, but we really try to work with students so that they have the opportunity to join the program and be a part of the MAM, the Yale SOM, and the Yale communities. So we do have a number of different funding options, whether that be scholarships, on-campus student employment opportunities, and then, of course, international student loans. And we do have a couple of partners that we work with to try and help students there. But diving into scholarships, all admitted students are automatically considered for merit scholarships. So when you apply and submit your application, if you're admitted, we'll go back through, we review everything and take a look to see, what might be merit worthy. So we really encourage putting out your best application, as that is our first opportunity to look at everything that you've done to this point and to see, what might be merit worthy or what have you done to earn merit scholarship money. And those scholarships tend to range from about 10 to 40,000 with everything in between possible. With that, once you've been admitted, you can also apply for need-aware scholarships. And that's another opportunity to apply for and see if there's additional scholarship funds that you may be eligible for. So definitely different options and different ways that we can try and make it all work. But we really try to work with all of our students to make sure that if they want to do this program and if there's someone that is a great fit, they have the opportunity to be a part of such an amazing cohort here at Yale. So that's the end of our presentation. I really appreciate all of you joining. I know we're going to take questions in just a second, but if you have anything that you want to ask in specific that comes up later on or that you think about later on, definitely send us an email at advanced.management@yale.edu. And then, of course, if you want to check out a little bit more on our website, we have our updated class profile, a little bit more updated information on there. You can scan our QR code or visit the website you see in the bottom left. But we'll jump into questions now, I believe. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Please feel free to put your questions on the chat or the Q&A. We will be answering them. But as you think of your questions and start typing, we're going to be covering some of the ones that were pre-submitted by you when you register for the session. So we had a lot of questions about scholarship opportunities. I think that Matt has covered that. I just want to kind of reinforce the message. 2 types of scholarships: merit, which goes up to probably half tuition, and then need, where you have to submit all your financials once you've been admitted into the program. And then our financial aid team gives you a final award with merit and need. I would also encourage everybody to look for other options as well, and not try to finance the program solely on scholarships, because our funding is limited. So as you plan for the program, it'll be great if you can look for loan opportunities. Sometimes home countries offer better interest rates than the international loan providers we work with. So start looking for funding options. But then, as Matt was saying, we also work with every student to try to make the program a possibility. But this is a two-way partnership, so we also expect you to do your due diligence, also looking for sources of funding. A great question. I'm gonna pass it over to you, Matt, to see what your input is, and then I might add mine if I think of something different. But what do you think is the most important thing we look for in an applicant?
That's a great question. I want to say, honesty and being authentic to who you are. I think that is probably one of the most important things when we're reviewing your application. We're looking to see, who are you? What have you done up to this point? What do you want to do in the future? I think how realistic some of those goals and things are. But I think being authentic, being true to yourself, it really allows your application to shine, especially when we watch the video questions and read your essays. We can get a little bit of, the enthusiasm and some of that just from those moments. And it's more than just, I want to be, a Yale student, or I want to attend Yale. It's someone that really can authentically say, I would love to be at Yale, but I would love to be at Yale so I can change the world and really be a part of that change for business and society in the future. I think that authenticity really shines through and definitely helps applicants a lot. So I would say be authentic in your application and really let yourself shine.
I agree with that. We look for excellence too. So ideally, great grades and great work experience, and then fit with the mission. Let us know how you fit with our mission as well. We have a very good question about, is there any risk or downside to applying in round 3 for international students? So I guess I would say apply when you feel you're ready, when you can submit your strongest application. But if you apply in round 3, there could be some issues with processing your visa, depending on what program, what country you come from. So we have seen this year some visa issues. And also, if you are looking for campus accommodation, it's a very limited amount of campus accommodation that we can offer for graduate students. Most of our students live off campus. So the sooner you apply, the better, I would say. But only if you're ready. So basically, we want you to present your best self whenever you are ready. But if you can do it in rounds 1 or 2, especially if you're an international student, which most of you are, that would be best. In terms of admissions, it doesn't matter. We're gonna reserve seats for each of the rounds, and we're going to admit a strong candidates in each of the 3 rounds. So it won't affect your admission chances, but it will be a little bit more stressful planning to move to New Haven if you apply in the last round. Okay, we do have another question, Matt. Is there a maximum a number of electives that students can take?
There is not a maximum.
Sorry, Matt, outside of SOM.
Oh, outside of SOM. I don't believe there is a maximum number outside of SOM. There are some caveats where, depending on the school and the class, there may be some restrictions where that school's students have sort of first priority, or there may be prerequisite courses that you may have needed to take in order to then take some of those classes. But the electives outside of SOM, I don't believe there is a limit, if I'm correct, Camino.
No, there's not a limit unless the school itself that you're trying to get courses from has a limit. I think the law school has
Is
a limit.
one.
Yeah, they don't allow Yale students that are not Yale law students to take more than 1 or 2 courses, but that's the only restriction. Other than that, you can take classes whatever you want. We have a couple of questions which are related to how long after graduating from the MBA can you apply to the MAM. So we like to say that ideally it should be right after you graduate from the MBA or up to 3 to 5 years post MBA. Reason being that the core of the MBA should be fresh in your mind to be able to then make the most out of the electives. Again, I was saying in my presentation that you're going to be taking classes with our MBA students. The MBA students have done the core in the first year and the electives in the second year. So if you've been out of the MBA for longer than that, we're going to be looking very carefully at your work experience, what you've done, and what kind of skills you've been using to make sure that when you come, you can succeed in the program. This is important because it's a demanding program. Sometimes I'm surprised how students don't realize that this is hard, that getting into the program is the easiest part of this, that then you have to succeed and you have to put a lot of work into it. So it really depends on if you've been out of a school for a long time. It really depends on the kind of work that you've been doing, the kind of courses you plan to take here, so that you're not completely kind of rusty in those topics. Like I did my MBA in 1999. I can't confirm that I would not be a good candidate for the MAM. I would probably not do very well in those classes because it's been a long time since I'm out of school. Okay.
I was going to say, one question that I know has come up is oftentimes about the GRE GMAT test score. So we don't offer a waiver for that. And I know a lot of times students will get stressed out and it becomes a thought of, I need to hit a specific score number or something like that to be admitted. And I really want to emphasize this, and Camino can definitely add. We take a holistic approach when we look at your application. We are looking for excellence. We're looking for the best and brightest who want to support our mission. But the test score is one part of your application. We really want to see, your great essays. We want to see your resume. We want to see, how have you lived up to the mission so far? What do you hope to do afterwards? What are your grades like? It's not just you got a perfect test score, but you got all Fs in classes in undergrad. We really want to see a complete application. So while the test score is important, yes, it is one component of this whole application that we really take a look at. So don't overthink the test score. Do your best. Try and get your best score, but don't let that be a deterrent. There is no minimum test score that we're looking at or looking for. We really want to see the full body of work and who you are, what your application presents when we evaluate. So really, take your time, make sure your whole application is good, not just that you have the best possible test score, because that's not going to guarantee anything. I don't know if you want to add on to that or expand on that, Camino.
No, you said it all. We do have another question about career prospects, and I want to talk a little bit about this. So we have a lot of students that come to the program and have the expectation to then work in the US for some time, and that is great and is definitely an opportunity. But I just want to stress that, again, OPT, optional practical training, is not guaranteed, and you have to apply and get approved. And not only that, you need a job offer. So career prospects for students in the MAM are all over the world. And please do not come to the program with the sole goal to stay in the US, because that might or might not be possible. So you have to have different plans, plan A, B, and C. We just hosted one of our alumni that can talk to our incoming class. And he did mention that he had, I think, quite a few options open. The first one didn't work out, but the third one did. So you have to be open-minded for opportunities all over the world, not fixed in the US, because that's going to be more difficult. And then in terms of industries, it is funny how our MAM students don't really have like a fixed career path. Like some of our MBAs and a lot of our GBA students, they either go into consulting or investment banking. Those are the two industries that are kind of predominant. That's not the case in the MAM. We have entrepreneurs, we have people that go into tech, we got people that go into consulting and investment banking, of course, but it's a little bit more like a spread. And I think the reason is that they are more advanced in their careers, and they are using the program either to advance in their field, or just make a switch and change industries completely, or launch their own ventures. We're seeing more and more entrepreneurs coming into the program. So yeah, that's what I could say about career prospects. A little bit of all over the place, and please come with a lot of options, plan A, B, and C.
And to add on to that, because I
Sure.
saw we had a question about this, is about if the program is open to welcoming candidates who are looking at a career transition or a pivot. We absolutely are. That's one of the reasons I think many applicants are interested in the program, is it gives you an opportunity to kind of potentially make that pivot. Now, obviously, that pivot kind of depends a little bit. You can't make a crazy pivot and go from one industry to a completely different one that just doesn't really align. But if you're looking to make a career pivot or transition, we do find that a lot of our students are looking for that. And it's one of the main reasons that they like the flexibility of the program and the curriculum, to be able to take the classes they feel they need to be able to make a successful pivot transition into that. So we're absolutely welcoming to those students. I think a lot of our students are in that same boat. So they, love having other people to kind of bounce ideas off of and talk about this career shift that they're making. Definitely. And then I did see one other one that I wanted to mention. So asking about if part-time MBA students or executive MBA students are eligible for the program, not just MBA. And yes, we do any MBA program, part-time, full-time, executive, I think international MBA, some places have, we will take a look at all of those applications. If there's any issues, we can let you know, but we do take all of those MBA programs as MBA programs.
We do have a question about experiential learning during the MAM. So the program doesn't have internships as part of the program, but there are some classes that do work with companies. We have a couple of courses that have consulting projects, either with companies here in the US or outside of the US. So those are electives that you could take, but the program per se doesn't include internships. I think we have covered all the questions that were in the Q&A, but also the ones that had been pre-submitted, because some of them were already answered during the presentation, so I'm not going over those again. And the ones that we wanted to kind of expand a little bit on, we have covered it. So unless there's anything else, please feel free to put it in the chat. If not, we're gonna give you back 14 minutes of your time. We don't know where you're located in the world. It may be very early in the morning or very late at night. So hopefully we won't keep you much longer if we don't need to. Just wanna go back to this slide that is still being shared with you. Go into our website or use this QR to see more events that we have coming up. And then please make good note of our email address, advanced.management@yale.edu. All the team is behind this email address. So it's the best way to get your personal questions answered. If you don't want to kind of share them with everybody on the call, you can write to us directly and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Elena. And thank you, everybody who connected today. We're looking forward to reviewing your applications. Again, the application opens on September 24th. So you have still plenty of time to work on all the materials and all the essays that Matt was talking about. And again, any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.